and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate, basic human rights for all people. You know, when we think about a spiritual side of humanity, most of us in America traditionally conform to the principles of Christianity. This is what we were taught, and this is what we like to associate ourselves with. Doesn't mean we necessarily practice the principles. We fall short, as most people fall short of their divinity. But nevertheless, we think it is very important, so we maintain it as something that we will pursue, that we are constantly pursuing, and that one day we hope that we will get there. We hope that we will get there because we have idolized it in such a way till it is the greatest that we could actually accomplish. And the reason that we are not there now is because we do not consider ourselves that great. And apparently we are accurate in that assessment. You know, ladies and gentlemen, when we think about that biblical perspective, it's stories about people who we hold up in high esteem as being somebody who had some real importance in their lives, so important that we should, kind of train our conduct the way they did. And we do research and we find out that certain materials probably were written by somebody else who maybe told a story to somebody else. Well, I have considered myself on a divine mission ever since I got out here, for at least close to 40 years. And I basically lived my life before the public in such a way that I have no shame in my game. Now, I've done a lot of things, but the thing that I'm most proud of is that I awoke to the fact that there is a God, that there really is a power that's superior to human power. Now, the truth of the matter is, I don't know what God is, but I do know God is power. And when I speak of God, I speak of God in relationship to our lives. And I use God as a reference based upon that moment in time when all doubt was removed from me about where the power lies. And I really felt comfortable about it because even though it was just a realization to me at that point and at that time, it made me understand how important each of us are. And yet, while I know God isn't constantly going around showing miracles to each of you like it was to me, but I recognize the reality that because it was, and now I can recognize by the conduct of those around me that they're missing it. But because I can do this, then much is required of me. And since for about 40 years, I have been given this mission to go and alert the people of the world, the people of America, particularly Christians, or people who call themselves children of God, to wake them up and tell them that they're on the wrong path. They are following a path that leads them to hell. That's what I was given to tell them. I know it was true from God because the first thing when I stopped working for the government and started this on the low, in other words, stopped trying to be the big shot and just settling for just being able to get around and tell people the truth, my wife left me, divorced me right away. So that was a good sign that I was on the right path. Things weren't going good. And so as I went around, and it took me a long time to know specifically what to do, but all I did was follow step. Whatever situation I found myself in, I trusted that my response was being led by that spirit and it would be all right, whatever the outcome. And there were some strange outcomes, ladies and gentlemen, but I put them all in videotapes. I put them all in booklets and pamphlets. I put them all in materials that you won't ever forget. I even got it in the court records. It's just that important to me. Now, what I'm basically saying to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, is that the message that God really wants all of the world to know is that man doesn't have any power. Each of you got a certain amount and it can be used for whatever you want it to be used for. But man, in the sense that compared to God, man has no power except when they unite together. They can have all kinds of power, but if it's not the right power, it still is no power. And what I mean by the right power is that power that gives blessings to every human being. The power that gives blessings to every human being, that was divinely designed from the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, that you and I, all of us. And right now, when I say that, I was given the message to tell you that you were on the path to hell. I didn't want to tell you that. I know you. I know you would get upset. And so I tried to change it around, make it sound pretty. A walk through life from hell to paradise. But I was awakened. I was brought full circle in the presidential election of 2016, 2017, when you had put before you two representatives, one for Republicans, one of Democrats, conservative and liberal, and you heard nothing decent about any of them from the opposite side. It was pathetic how they were described, and yet the people of the United States of America accepted that. And they used for their excuse the lesser of the two evils. The American people on the path to hell, now they have seeking to be on the throne, evil. And what do the American people do? They go to the polls and vote for the lesser of two evils. That tells you where America is. But not only that, the ones who say they love God, children of the Almighty God, led by Jesus Christ, saved by the blood, were in that same line, voting. So that told anybody who loves God what was going on. You see, that means all of us, let me take me out of that, I was in it, are being blindly led to the path of hell, the church and everybody else. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, when you accept evil, I know you weren't trying to vote for evil. You were hoping. You were hoping that this time, because you have always been oppressed. See, the truth of the matter is, you have always been oppressed as a people. You were either oppressing or you were being oppressed. Sometimes you found yourself oppressing, and sometimes you found yourself oppressed. That's because of the kind of system that you live under here in America. I'm not talking about around the world now. I'm talking about right here. It does this today, tears it down tomorrow. For instance, the tax bill that has just been passed. It's to give to the people some money back temporarily for a certain period of time. At a period of time when the people who made it okay won't have to be responsible for it, because they'll be out of office and it'll be somebody else's problem. And even further on down the line, when that debt is accrued so much, it'll still be somebody else's problem. So you'll still be victimized by those who will con you for a moment in time. But they do this because they know nothing else. And so, even when you turn your back for all of those years before we got to this moment, when the message was given to you that peace and prosperity and joy is yours, all you got to do is claim it and give it life. And it was rejected by those who heard it. Most of you never heard it, so I can't be really on you because you didn't hear it, because it was never given for you to hear. A poor man could only stand up and say it. And if anybody cares, it'll be caught on the wind and it'll travel just like that. If anybody cares. That's the way the truth has to travel. You see, because the enemy owns the media sources. When I say enemy, I'm talking about those who don't want you to know the truth. Those who don't want you to be liberated. Those who are profiting at your ignorance. They're not going to tell you anything that I'm doing. And now they're trying to control the media, the internet, the social media, that they can stop this and you won't hear anything. But the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, is that we've gone full circle. And if you will admit it, you are on a path to hell. Even though you think right now that a deliverer is here. That's because you are really, really unaware. But at the same time, the same spirit that is responsible for your living has before you created a situation where we have here in the state of Minnesota a United States Senator who has resigned, who's coming out of the game. And someone is going to have to replace him to finish his term. And it is a golden opportunity for me to stand up and say, I would like to finish that term. And why do I want to finish that term? Because I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how to have what this little tax break money you getting back, which will be stolen back from you in increased prices, which will be stolen back from you in a few years when everything else drops and you have to have extraordinary costs. I want you to know that the power to stop that in its track by doing the right thing. And what is the right thing? When the people chose Donald Trump to be president, when they gave Donald Trump that power and everybody was talking against him, they did so because they had been lied to and deceived, and their hope failed when they trusted Republicans and Democrats. When they trusted someone who they knew was a gift from somewhere, Barack Obama, to become president of the United States, they just, you can imagine the number of people that hoped that he would do the right thing. And when all of that failed, they hadn't heard this message. And so here comes Donald, claiming to be a billionaire. Don't need the support of me. Oh, the greatest liar of them all. So they said, why not? Why not? That's what Donald asked them. Why not? Well, I'm asking you now, ladies and gentlemen, why not? Because here's the truth. The way the system has always operated, and the way it is operating today, is exploiting and taking advantage of people, whether it's locally or whether it's nationally or whether it's internationally. And people as Americans have gone along with it because they've benefited from it. And at the same time, you can look at it, if you got it in a sense, the suffering that is created from here in America. Can't you imagine the suffering it must be causing abroad? And because of this, this is why we have poverty existing here and there. This is why we have crime and violence existing here and there. And this is why you have terrorism, because of the things that won't get fixed. And people are as mad as hell, and they do not know what to do. And the voice that should be speaking, telling folks who are in darkness what to do, are silenced. So what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, all of you who are listening to my voice today, if any of you can be satisfied with a system, a program, any kind, any type of program that can deny people in this country the same thing that every last one of you want, if you can deny and accept any program that can deny them, any of them, then the challenges that you've had, the extortions that you've had, the lying and cheating that have slapped you in the face, are things that you deserve. You deserve it. If you could put up and say, well, it's not me this time, maybe it'll work. What am I saying to you? I'm not coming to you talking about, let's make sure that everybody got housing. Let's deal with that now. Maybe let's back it up. I'm not coming to you saying, let's make sure that everybody got a job only. I want you to know that with everybody working and everybody doing a job that they choose themselves would end up making available to all of us those things which would meet the needs that we all require. And we don't need money to do that, because this is part of the design. When I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, it provides. So who's going to be homeless? when we got more homes and possibilities than we got people to want them, to receive them? Who's going to be hungry when we got food just waiting for some more people to come on the earth so we can feed them? Who is going to be uneducated when it is there in abundance, free, no restrictions on it? Who's going to be without health care when it's there? Because we, the people, have chosen our careers that gives us our greatest joy. And in doing that, we meet all of these needs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to tell you what the Master wants you to know. And nobody's walking around with their belly hungry, popped up, or sick. Eyes and lips and stuff all messed up and nobody to treat them. Got a disease, but you can't research it to find a cure because the money is running out. Some people got sickness and diseases. We got to go walking and try to raise the money. Do we care? If we really care, why are we walking? Come back here at the starting gate and let's get this thing right in the beginning. If we're going to walk, let's walk with our minds. Let's walk with our hearts. We take care of this. You out there walking. I know you think that means something, and it does mean something to you in the world, in the systems that we live under. But the Father, the Master, the Almighty God, the Creator wants you to know that it's something much simpler than that. Much more convenient and much better than that. And that's just to make sure that your living is to make life real for everybody else, so that yours will be blessed. Come on. So you go to the polls and write in Eddie Marcus as the next United States Senator. And I say write in because I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm independent from all of that. I represent all people. I represent you all. I want all of you to have the best that can be had. And I want to stand up and give it representation where it counts. I want my voice to be heard. And I want you to write in Eddie Marcus, so I can go down to Washington and preach to those people that I know who have been exposed. They have been exposed. They have been revealed. Now we know who they truly are, because they themselves identified Donald Trump while they were trying to pretend like they were better. Now they're praising what they criticized. That means they're in line. They're letting you know, the God is letting you know who you're dealing with. You're dealing with crooks. You're dealing with people who sold you out and willing to do anything to look good over on that side of town. But God ain't mad with them no more than he's mad with you. Because thou shalt have no other gods before the real God. The real God is the God that says, these are my people. And I want them free to live and to have their dreams come true. And I don't want Donald Trump, I don't want Republicans or Democrats or whoever to deny them that. And the power to always manifest it lies in the responsibility in each and every last one of you. You got the power. It is in your hands to maintain it. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. And remember, no man can obey two masters. Remember that. So you go to the polls and write in Eddie Marcus, and if you want to know anything about me, look on YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, anywhere, and check me out. I don't want you raising money. This is not to feed the economy. This message should travel on the wind. You hear it, you know it's true, you got to tell somebody else. And it should flow all over the nation. And when the time come around, the Minnesotans should know about it. They should have heard about it. And when that time they should come around to go to the polls, they should go to the polls and write in Eddie Marcus. And if they don't write in Eddie Marcus, don't feel bad. It's life. That's the way it is. And that's the way it will be until the people are ready for something better. Until the people are ready for something better. As long as they want to wallow in the mire, Donald Trump said they were wallowing, so they thought they'd get Donald Trump and they would be coming out of that. They just found themselves deeper in it. So why should they believe me? Because I'm not putting down hate on anybody, not even on Donald Trump. When they enter the game, the life that you have, your dreams coming true, Donald's dreams will be able to continue to come true just like that. The only thing, he won't be accepted as a bully. He can pull that coat off. It ain't working here no more. Till next time, bye-bye.